You need help moving an engine?
Yeah, I gotta
Oh.
find someone to. I gotta find someone to do that. Um.
Well, in terms of mechanics around this time, right now, the only person advertising is Bruce Baylor.
Yeah, Bruce would do it for me. I gotta find. Do you know where McNulty's Coquette is? Probably up north, isn't it?
No idea, but I'll. Do you want me to check here? Hold on.
I checked here. I checked
Okay.
here.
I can bring you up north if you'd like.
Yeah, fuck it. Let's go. Actually, you want to drive the Beast?
What's the beast?
The Beast.
Let me
You,
let me put
you,
this down here.
you
Hold
don't
up.
know about the Beast?
Wait, is this the
You
one in Turner's name?
No, this is the one in my name.
What engine does it have?
Come on, let's go.
Sure.
Don't worry about it.
Well, if it's got the 5.0, I hated how Turner's drove.
Well, mine drives different than Turner's.
Oh. Oh wow.
Mine drives a lot different than Turner's.
Wow. What is in this? I'll tell you what isn't in this. Gas.
Oh, true.
This is I mean it's definitely fast. It's definitely more squirrely than Turner's, but like also boaty. It's in such a strange way.
Yeah, well, it's a CVPI. I mean, what do you expect? You know, it can't be a fucking goddamn interceptor.
Let's catch a 37 Charlie today,
What I can't
guys.
explain is how my Scout
That would be nice. What's the
has a fucking personality, and every day of the fucking week it
I don't
handles
think they're even
differently,
gonna call since
and
I've
I
been on
hate it.
duty, to be
I
honest.
feel like that with
We
my
had a
shit too.
37.
Like without
I'm
changing
clocking in about
anything,
50
I'm not
minutes ago.
kidding.
That's probably,
One day it's great, the next it's
refresh.
impossible to drive, and I like it's so
the car
It
frustrating.
has something to do with repairs. I don't know.
So that's a
I should say a
possibility.
theory. I should say it's a theory because when I get it fully upgraded, or when I get it fully repaired, I feel like it's back to where it is. But then, depending on where it wears, it reacts differently. I don't fucking know.
So the weirdest thing is that, again, no parts changed, like nothing. Though I will say, changing my tires a couple weeks ago did help a considerable amount. I changed it back to it was like off-road wheels, but the actual tires on the on the car were like the rubber on the car were slicks, right? Oh wait, is this McGregor? No, okay, we're good. I found that like I was consistently having issues where the car was like very understeery, which was never the case with the Scout before. I changed it from I don't know if it was like track tires or something, but to off roads, and then everything drove great for a few days, and then just again absolute dog shit, like the most understeery thing in the world again, and I can't explain why. I don't know if it's got anything to do with the fact that like half the time I hand a fucking mechanic a receipt to change the wheels, the fucking wrong wheels are on there. There was one time I had Marshall Barrett try to change my grill, and he applied it 3 times and it was the wrong one every single time, and then weeks later it was suddenly the correct one. Like I don't fucking know, something's happening.
Like, for you know what, something happened with the light bar on this thing. I tried to put it on and like 4 times, never came on. McNulty's in for a rude awakening, by the way.
Oh,
I think I need you to move.
lead us 10 on your
you're right.
399 same traffic.
all the way up in Sandy across
I'll
from
move
the pet store. 245
from here.
mile.
I let McNulty swap the motor in my fucking Penumbra that the Pursuit unit drives.
Mm-hmm.
And this
399
was,
for
he's like,
365.
hey, I just want to do it for the night. I was like, great. This was 3 or 4 days
Say
ago. He's
399?
like, I'll put it back in there.
Confirm.
That bit's
It's
all
been
right.
3 or 4 days. He hasn't put it back.
Inside the
The other
24/7.
thing
Did he have
is,
a
I
mask
gave
on?
him a set of slicks.
No, he did not.
And I
Can you
told
identify
him
him?
I need semi slicks.
Yeah, so you're
and
at
he
BC
never
South?
got me the semi slicks
front of the
either. So the
24/7 right
semi
now.
slicks are coming off, and I'm
Hey,
taking my
for
fucking
299
motor
route.
back.
So this has slicks on it.
I don't
Yeah,
think
no,
you did.
I wanted semi slicks on mine.
Oh,
I
okay,
think
okay,
semi
okay.
slicks. I think semi slicks would help with the understeering on the beast.
At
Oh, do you want to drive
29
this?
is approaching
Actually?
the scene.
I'll drive.
I'll drive
At 29,
I'll drive this
23, I
back.
don't see any vehicles outside. Stand by.
I will take the keys.
the.
Thank
there
you.
go. I'll meet you at MRPD.
Goes to. I guarantee this has the.
At 29, the store,
issue.
the store seems locked. I believe I think a cash register might have gotten hit, but the door is closed in the back.
Oh, this
Check
is
out the
bugged.
surrounding areas.
There's no way it has no acceleration here.
At 20, I checked the rooftop as well. It's clear. The situation in the Beach Canyon store is
Yeah.
clear.
Shit. Copy that.
Hmm? Then it just randomly picked up? I'm so confused. There's no way. The only reason it's accelerating there is because of the bumps on the road. Got brakes. Hey, I'll stick with you for now because is this registered in McNulty's name?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, because I left my vehicle in the lower motor pool and it got locally towed, and I know you'd be shafted if that happened.
Okay. All right. I appreciate that. Thank you.
No problem. Are we heading to the tuner shop? Do you have a drill? Oh, actually, never mind.
What'd you say?
Nothing. Don't worry. I don't think you need the drill.
Some motherfucker fucked me. I can't believe it. I even called him last night before I went to sleep. I was at a bench trial. So we had a situation with Cypress yesterday. Do you deal with Cypress at all?
In the very few occasions that I have, I ended up shot or they ocean dumped several cars.
Well, they did a fucking bench trial last night, and it was like, it just ended up being a fucking 3-hour bench trial.
You know how
Then I raided somebody because they had 6 incidences within the last 21 days of having weapons or Molotovs.
who was that?
976, ladies 90 Alpha.
Charlie Jones, I felt bad for her. She's a good sport, but
All women ride as well.
Was this all tied in with the bench trial?
yeah. So I had to wait for the bench trial. I had to wait for the outcome of the bench trial before I submitted my search warrant.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And then I ended up, I got so fucking raid locked in that situation that there were 2 suspects,
Wake
and
up,
then
Porter,
I
come on
forgot to submit my evidence for my suspect because I shouldn't have even written the fucking search
believe
warrant
that's
for
4
Charlie
units.
Jones.
We're
But I
gonna
was like,
move
you know
to
what? This
channel
is ridiculous.
39923 then.
Yeah, you know what? I came on duty to repair my car because oftentimes you run into an issue of not running into mechanics in shift 3. And there was a call because there was a large scale shooting, Little Seoul, multiple downed individuals, right? So I arrive on scene and Brandy's asking for help with processing officers. So I pick a guy. I pick one of the guys on the ground. It ends up being Xavier Valentine. He identifies himself. He says, "Listen, this is like this looks bad because I wasn't involved in this. That car over there, I got ejected from. I went down, then I heard the shots fired. So I GSR test him. He's negative. I look over his injuries, consistent with having been ejected from the car. He was genuinely wrong place, wrong time. His vehicle had no bullets, no flat tires or anything to that extent. So I bring this up to the primary. They say, we can cut him loose. And then Ventura was like, well, who's this? And I was like, it's Xavier Valentine. And again, I had just gone on duty for the sole purpose of fixing my car. He goes, he has an active warrant out for his arrest. I was like, okay, I'll deal with that. So he gets placed under arrest. On his person, he's got a deagle, oxy, splints, and tourniquets. Then, upon looking into... So the gun isn't hot, thankfully, but the splints come back to a... no, not splints. The tourniquets come back to Sophia Torres, who... It was still listed as a doctor under the staff, but she's no longer a doctor. And then the tourniquets... No, the splints, sorry, came back to Jason Ledson. You look at Ledson's profile right now. Look at how many things.
Go to Hydra. So we did a subpoena. We did a subpoena for his phone. I submitted a subpoena. It was approved. Carmine has the records. I don't know if you're going to take it there, but Carmine went through all his entirety. I think Hydra just fucking target for Ledson. I could be wrong, but Carmine said he couldn't fucking find anything.
Really?
Yeah, there should be a subpoena. I actually typed up, it should be in the reports. I typed up a subpoena, yeah.
Ledson hangs out with Hydra, though.
I know, that's the fucking weird thing. Okay, so yeah, so it was signed. It's report number 17872. I put up this report, even though Carmine took credit for it, but.
Oh, damn. Statute's out on that, too.
Yeah, 31 tourniquets. So this was before. This was back in exactly a month ago.
But look at this.
45 days.
Look at this. Yeah. Look at Ledson's profile, and look at just look at Xavier Valentine. It's almost every incident. Xavier Valentine, Xavier Valentine, Xavier Valentine. Then Jasper John's vehicle, Jen Christopher, Xavier Valentine, all with medical equipment belonging to him. And that last one I ended up putting. But number one, I'm sort of partially conflicted to some extent. But number two, I was on duty in shift 2 for the sole purpose of getting my vehicle repaired, and they needed somebody to process. I was like, fuck it, I'll do it. So now it's like I handed it off to marshals, or at least I informed marshals regarding it, because from my understanding, they're looking into stuff like this. Because the last thing I want is to start writing warrants and shit outside of shift and not be able to see the situation through, because rarely am I around during that time.
And it's rough. I'll talk. That's okay. So I'll talk to the marshals about it. Do you know which marshal's handling it?
I called Richard at the time. But something happened yesterday, and I don't quite know what it was.
24523.
He got sick.
Yeah, and then
You heard about that?
Well, I got a text message that said, "I'm sorry, I love you." This was 13 hours ago, which was shortly after I went 42.
I'm not sure.
And then Bruce had emailed me, but I unfortunately wasn't around at the time. My phone was dead. So I only got that email this morning. But no, I don't have much context. I did see a report from Snoopy, and I was going to ask him something at the hospital, but I got caught up in stuff and wasn't able to.
Yeah, so I know you went up to the light. I have very few details on the situation, but apparently, because so Carly owns the lighthouse, which I included in my search warrant. Come to find out that it's all boarded up and I can't go in there, so I felt like a big old fucking dummy. But when right before we went up there, all the marshals were up there, and Dirk came down with something. I don't. Oh, he was talking to Dr. Death, pestilence or some shit,
Wonderful.
and that's how he contracted it.
Wonderful.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Started.
Okay.
The headlights on the Coquette look a little wonky.
Does what?
The headlights look a little wonky. I don't know, the like LED strip on the headlights. Looking don't mind me. Ignore me.
You're gonna make me do it. You're gonna make me do it.
Do what?
I mean, that looks better. Well, you can't. Here, let me get in.
Oh,
They look good when the lights are on.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I just something seems off.
I need
See, that's fine.
Yeah.
When they're off though,
it
it looks weird.
Do you have? Nah, don't need it.
Anywho,
I mean, that's hard sell right there, to be honest. Even
oh, damn, he busy. He came with the
His
fucking
name isn't Dr. Death, by the way. Like, I don't know his fucking
Dr.
name,
Smith.
but- Yeah, that guy. I think.
Yeah,
You know about him? I don't know about him.
yeah. Quite a
Hi,
long
let me tell
history.
you about this virus, okay? I think it's Ron Oil. I don't even think the virus is real. I think Ron Oil fucking is working with this Dr. Smith to get people infected because guess what? One of the main ingredients in vaccines are
What?
petroleum. What does Ron do? Oil.
Is that the same? Is that actually one of the main ingredients of?
In vaccines, yeah, there's petroleum in vaccines. I don't know if it's a main ingredient. It's definitely an ingredient. It's something. Yeah, let me look.
Hold up. Now,
Rip his engine.
me.
Let me ask you a question there, Peters. I understand that, both of you actually, that you have people that love to work on their own cars and stuff like that. However, here's the issue that I have in additional mechanics in the city.
Yeah, what's that?
The cops are doing their own shit. Takes away from people's jobs out here in the city. For instance, yesterday you had an Oxby from LSPD change out a freaking engine.
Mm-hmm.
The hoist and everything.
Yeah.
You see that being a problem?
No, here's why I don't see it. Right. I think you've made a. I'll shoot you 100% straight. And obviously, I continue to do work with you, Bruce.
No, not me. I'm talking about with everybody.
Right, but I'm going to use you as an example. What ends up happening is people end up going out to you. They don't know what they're doing, and they get overcharged and absolutely fucked on prices.
Ooh.
And then from there, people just have enough of it, and they don't want to deal with people, so they do it on their own.
Okay, there's other mechanics in the city.
Right, I know, but that's just, it's just the reality of the situation. I mean, I can't control what people do.
Sure you can, because they're on official duty. So if they're doing mechanic work and signing in to do mechanic work, that's double dipping, don't you think?
No. I mean, if they're swapping out vehicles and their own shit, I personally don't have any issues with that. I would prefer that they talk to other people, but if they want to do something on their own, who am I to say no? Don't do that. You have to go talk to someone.
Taxpayers are paying for them to be on duty, not change engines themselves. You see that problem, or no? You don't see that being a problem.
Mm,
In
yeah.
any government job, I mean, you can't do 2 jobs as a government worker.
Right. They're not doing it for profit though.
Oh, it's a.
I mean,
It's a job.
I could make it completely inclusive and just hire people from the PD to specifically work on cars. We don't do that, but we have the option to do that. That has actually come up. So it's like, I mean, as far as that goes, we could have a designated PD mechanic, and I think they've done that in the past, that only work on PD cars.
Okay.
So I mean,
to
it's like any other city, There's, I mean, I'm sure in the small town that I grew up in Los Angeles, Tennessee, there was a specific mechanic and also a specific impound lot. Everything was specific for that. So I think it's one of those things where it's not on us to force people to go out. It should be on the mechanics to go and build relationships with the officers and build trust to the point where other officers want to work with them.
okay. So
Like
now,
me and you, you know what I mean? Like you absolutely, you take care of me, but in the beginning, you absolutely fucking overcharge the fuck out of me. But
here, go ahead. Sorry.
I mean, I mean, you've always, like, at the end of the day for me, you do take care of me. You do respond to my phone calls. So it's like, that's a service that I'm appreciative of. And I always reach out to you when I have something because you yourself have taken care of me. So it's like, as far as other mechanics and stuff, it's like, fuck, then have other mechanics build relationships with officers and try to help them. Like create I mean, it's in the working world as well. People only use you, especially if you're a service, if you provide a service that they can't necessarily do or an experience they can't have by themselves. So I think, in my opinion, other mechanics should be doing that.
I agree with you on that. However, if they're not given the opportunity to interact and offer those services, then that's an issue. I mean, it's not your issue, but it's just an issue, right? Now, I'm not just talking about myself. I'm talking about generally speaking with government workers. They're double dipping and doing that. Yeah, it might not be for profit, but is there to save them money, whereas it's taken away from those who do it as a job. You understand that part of it, that argument side.
Yeah.
If the individual, all he does or she does is do mechanic work, and the cop wants to do it based on their experience or because they got fucked over, well, there's opportunities out there to reach out to other mechanics on top of that besides me, right? And to buy parts other than me. Now, back on me, you say I overcharge this, that, and the other. Okay, well, I welcome anybody to come into my shoes and invest every day $300,000 to $600,000 just to get parts that are required and on demand, be available at all hours of the day. Okay, my time is worth money, just like anybody else. Now, I provide a service. When you call, 90% of the time, I've got your part on deck. Call anybody else, they're not going to have it. Sure, can you find better deals? Absolutely. Absolutely. People are going to charge 35, 20K, whatever the fuck they want, but they're not available and it's not consistent and it's not on demand. It's based on what they pull that day and they don't invest the same kind of money that I do daily. That's why my pricing is the way it is. And oh, by the way, I don't do racing. I don't do boosting. I buy bet on the open market. Okay. So that's why I'm spending that kind of money. And I spend, you can ask anybody out there that's done business with me. I spend anywhere from $280 a box all the way up to 400. Now, recently the market dropped for bet. So I've been paying 280. The thing is what has not changed is the availability of getting the parts that are required and in demand, which is fours and fives. I need one, twos, and threes, but nobody wants those. They want the best. Well, if you want the best, you're gonna have to pay for the best to be on demand, and that's just the way it goes. Now, do you have to use me? Absolutely not. I'm not forcing anybody to use me. However, my pricing is justified based on my time and using my own personal money to hold up until it's ready for you to ask for it on demand. And that's the difference between me and other mechanics and other people in the city selling their shit because they're getting free bet doing the boost and the racing, and they can go open boxes and they'll get lucky and sell it for whatever they want because they don't have nothing invested. Whereas I'm an official business running the shit and putting my own money into it and having shit on demand. I never have sold any of the cops garbage. In other words, my parts are quality, right? 95% are better. If it's lower, I lower the price. If it's 90%, but I won't sell anything underneath that unless they want something dirt cheap. Then I will. Otherwise, I end up giving to the racers. I give it to a lot of the Bifta racers. I donate a lot of parts to a lot of people. So every box that I open up roughly costs me 35. Well, now lately, the last 3 days, 4 days, it's gone down, but on average at 350 a pop for a coin or a box takes 15 boxes. That's 500 or $5,400 for every box. Every box, and I get ones, twos, and threes all the fucking time. So to get the fours and fives is very. It's not a daily thing. You have to spend a lot of money to get there. So that's why the pricing is the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I understand that. I understand that, and you don't have to defend yourself. I understand it. Like I said, you come through on situations, but I can't force other people to go interact with other people in the city.
No, I'm not. I'm not saying you have to force anybody to interact. But what the statement that I'm making is like, imagine the judge doing the cop work. They're going on.
Yeah, we had that. Marshals do. We had marshals doing
they're
judge
not
work.
a judge. They're not a judge.
Yeah, there was.
There was, but there isn't now. That's the thing. The reason
Right.
why there isn't no more is because there was before. You see what I'm saying? So you see how that changed because of that?
Well, that situation changed because of something completely different.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I mean, there's lots of points, but my point is defending myself on the pricing because you made it very adamant about me overcharging. That's the way my pricing is based on what I have to invest daily.
I don't think he was saying that like the pricing is like the primary issue. And I know you're also saying that you're not just referring to yourself, and I've already had a conversation with you regarding the situation. But I think, and I know this because I just had a conversation with someone all of half an hour ago, and it was in regards to you. Not regarding pricing, but just that you rubbed them the wrong way. So I think that's what he's hitting on with like, yes, you can charge a premium for stuff because you do have stuff available, but when people find out that they can get it elsewhere cheaper, they're going to put you under the category of someone who's like price gouging. And I understand your business. I totally get what you're going through, and I understand that there's a lot of risk involved. But in saying that, for some people, it makes you less approachable. Now, regarding people like double dipping, I'm gonna be real. As someone who's primarily around in Shift 3, more recently, I've seen you around. Typically, it's Rainer. Sometimes people from Chaos Legion up north. But outside of that, like straight up, over the past month, I've had easily 10 occurrences at the end of my shift where I couldn't get my car fixed, so much so that I showed up last night to get my car fixed in shift 2.
Yeah, it's rough, and it's not just like this isn't singled out against you. This is across the board. Obviously, we want to see people do that, but there's no way in hell I'm going to tell officers they can't work on their own cars. I mean, the people I try to push people. I try to push people to see you, other mechanics. Unfortunately, it just there's a lot of variables we can't control, from the stuff Rhodes bringing up to like situations people have, like either bad interactions or mechanics not being around, or expediency on situations where we have to fucking be able to do shit fast. I mean, fuck, there's time like cops necessary. I have the luxury, right? I have a luxury of fucking standing around and doing whatever I want because I'm the ass chief. So I could sit in the tuner shop if I wanted to for half an hour. I could shoot the shit with you. A lot of officers don't have that because on a patrol level, I need people out there, and there needs to be a sense of urgency in the shit they're getting done. Again, I understand where you're coming from, and I do push people to. I mean, fuck. I try to. If I see somebody running down the side of the road, like I always ask people if they need a ride. I try to talk to every single person I can, but I can't force people to do that. I think that's.
Okay, fair enough.
I think
I mean, it's an open dialogue here, and the thing is there's both sides. You know what I'm saying? There's a lack of mechanics for a reason, and if you want them to be around, then you have to understand that by people doing their own stuff, government workers, right? Then at that point, they're not going to be on duty when you need them to be, and so therefore, when it comes to parts, you might as well just have your own crafting bench and all that stuff. If in that sense, because the thing is the mechanics are not on duty, or don't provide a service because there's nobody just to service. You know what I'm saying? Like it's minimal. Now, as far as um, the parts and stuff like that go, rubbing people the wrong way, well, it works both ways. It's easy to say one side of the story, but you don't listen to the other side of the story when they come across and say, "Oh, you're scamming people, this, that, and the other," but I'm buying the parts anyway. You see what I'm saying? Like you come across me offensive, I'm gonna be offensive. I'm gonna deliver the same energy back. I don't go in there and just act like an asshole. I can guarantee you that. They're giving me money, I'm gonna be respectful, but they don't
Bruce,
tell you the other side.
this isn't against you. As a matter of fact, so you know, I generally get parts cheaper than what I get from you. Like you fucking help me out in a situation, and I've been trying to push a lot of the business through you, especially with Turner. But I was getting boxes from Marlowe and Forehead, and before we kind of like built this relationship, I was getting something like 240 boxes for under $1 million. And it's
You know
like,
why? Because they're
why?
in gangs and they're forced to give all their bed up.
Right. I
Them.
understand that. But
There's a difference. I'm a solo entrepreneur. They are a gang.
I understand that, and I know that, and that's why I come to you. I understand that I'm telling you so you know that the LSPD has taken a hit in the past just to be able to work with you. So to say like, hey, like it's not fair. I mean, fuck, man, like bring that same energy across the board. Like 90% of the city are mechanics. How come people aren't reaching out to other people to get their cars fixed, and how come they're just working on their own cars by themselves?
It's not. I'm not. I'm not saying just about me being a mechanic. I'm talking about the lack of mechanics. Period. Right. I'm saying there's parts out there. The thing is, Peters, you got access to a lot of people, right? A lot of getting those boxes from people. The other officers don't, right? A lot of them don't. So the thing is it's very limited in that process with the parts and this and that. Now, there's a lot of people who do sell the parts out there, and I encourage everybody to go shopping around. I don't force anybody to come to me. You know what I'm saying? And then other people, like there's tons of people who have parts. Now, whether they have them on demand and willing to drop everything they're doing to come service, I don't know. But if the gangs do it that way, that's because they're built that way. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know how to explain that part, but I'm saying that as far as government workers go, that's what I'm talking about, not the civilian side. The civilian side's always been very crazy with being able to do everything within that gang, self-sufficient, which is the way it goes. But yeah, the boxes you get, that's the only reason why you get them that cheap is because they're forced to give that bet upward. You know what I mean? So I don't have that luxury, and so the parts I give, or I have to price accordingly. You know, there's a lot of risk, like Rhodes said there. I mean, like shit doesn't sell, it sits there, and that's what did money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, specific to like repairs, though, I feel like an overwhelming majority of people go through like a third-party mechanic as opposed to doing it themselves.
Yeah, I mean, we just
do.
set up a deal with Project R or whatever it is. Like, I mean, we're working with you. Like, there's a ton of shit that the LSPD does. I can't speak on behalf of the BC. Actually, the BCSO works with the mechanic. Like, I just saw them. Like, they have somebody come to the LSPD and repair all their cars. So, I mean, there's going to be some rogue people that do whatever they want, but overall, a majority of the PD is working with those people. I can't force people to work with mechanics, and if they want to swap out parts or do an engine swap on their car, like that's on them. But a majority of the LSPD doesn't do that.
Okay, well, I understand that, but that was just a point that I wanted to bring across to you and see the perspective from both sides. You brought your side, and I brought the mechanic side.
Yeah, I totally get it.
I mean, we got a beautiful tuner shop here. I mean, it would be amazing if mechanics worked out of here and provided those services. A lot of them do. It's just that, you know, it's just when it comes to government workers, I think that opportunity should be extended to those mechanics willing to do so. Not just me, obviously not just me. I don't do many engines. The only engines I do really is you. That's it. You know what I mean? A couple other people, but that's it. My own engines. So, um,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
I'm gonna continue to work with you. I don't really give a fuck.
yeah. But as far as pricing goes, I mean, I don't know what to say about it, man. I mean, if people want to,
I don't give a shit about pricing.
You know what I mean?
like that's between each other and every person.
I mean,
I've already
Bruce,
told people I use
you were very upfront and honest with it. Like your business is you charge a premium on the basis of convenience, right? And that's with any convenience-based business where number one, you're taking risks. So it's not just like, your run-of-the-mill products that you can get every day on a whim. But again, people do understand that if they're going through, they're probably going to be paying a bit of a premium over waiting a couple days, and but who wants to sit there and wait when they have bald fucking tires, or their turbo's completely shot, and their vehicle becomes an understeery mess, but at the same time, I imagine further in the day, they'll be like, oh well, I got this from Bruce, and they're like, really, I got it so and so cheaper,
That's what happens
and
in
then
the
you get
market.
painted in a bad light.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying that that's unfair to those people to perceive it that way, because again, people may not realize, but if you're sitting on product, again, you're in my opinion, your business revolves around convenience. There is very few times I can look in the lemon list and not see you advertising parts.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I'm not in the sense, I'm not worried about what people think about me, man. And you're absolutely right. It's all about convenience. I'm around, I drop whatever I'm doing to come service, and because of the price you're paying, you deserve that dang service and commitment. You know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
I encourage everybody to shop around and buy everything on the market, because guess what that means? It means they're just going to come to Bruce to see him and buy the parts. You know what I'm saying? And all the money that I invested is going to come right back. And that's the way the world works. It's the world in general. People are going to talk shit. You got your Walmart shoppers and you got your Louis Vuitton shoppers. Okay? And in between. And that's the way it goes. I mean, like, I'm high end. If you want to work on the low end, that's fine, but it's not going to be convenient, and it's not going to be consistent. Those keywords right there equal value. So
You're definitely not wrong.
So
You're definitely not wrong.
So what are you, okay? Let's rewind here in the discussion on pricing, right? Is reasonable for the government side of officers to pay for parts? What do y'all think is a reasonable amount?
Well, it depends on the market. I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't necessarily think it. I think.
Okay, let me
whatever
ask
they
you
can get 'em
this
for. Yeah.
as like a real world example. What would you charge for stage 5 coilovers?
In the real world or here?
Just right now, if
Everything
somebody
was
called
golden.
you,
So right now it'd be 60K. 10K
Uh,
above, 10K above, and you know
yeah.
why? Because
See, and that is the reason I bring that up is because I know an officer who just swiped a pair for 50 grand.
40. Yeah, 50 or 50, or 40 or 50. But
Yep.
that's because they're okay. Here's the thing. I don't know if you know this, and Peters definitely knows this if he's buying the boxes. It takes a lot of boxes to get the parts that you're looking for.
Oh, trust me, I know, because I opened quite a few, and all I saw was stage 1s and 2s.
Okay.
So I do understand.
The loot goblin, as I call Nico over there, the loot goblin. Okay, that motherfucker will fuck you consistently. Now there'll be a good day out of the week where he pays off good. I'm not talking about like it's great parts, this, that, and the other. However, as soon as that day's over, it's nothing but 1s and 2s again.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's the
String
way
of
it
good
goes.
luck and bad luck.
Exactly. Now some people have better luck than others. Okay, that's a fact. It's RNG.
Mm-hmm.
It just happens. Now, like I said, will you
The
find
mystery
better
boxes.
pricing? Yeah. Can you find better pricing? Absolutely.
Those are going to be one-off parts. And
Exactly.
yeah,
And that's
trust
what I
me,
mean.
we 1,000% understand where you're coming from.
Good night, Anita.
Have a good one, Anita.
The pricing, yeah, that pricing is based on that. And now also with that, like if there's an abundance, then the price goes down. So like let's say I got 20 coilovers. Well, obviously there's no way that price should be that way. You see what I'm saying? If I'm pulling out coilovers, I'm gonna drop it to $40,000 for.
I mean, it's to your benefit as well, because if you just sit on them, that's no money for you. Yeah, no, 100%.
So it's just catching me at the right time with the right parts that are on deck. Like, Bruce, what parts do you have in excess? You see, you got to ask the right questions. You see what I'm saying? What parts do you have that you know you have excess of? Boom, you know you're gonna get discounted immediately. Now, if you go for stage 5 brakes, I guarantee there's nobody in the city that's sitting on more than 1 or 2 at all. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Guarantee that.
I mean, yeah, I remember having the conversation with you. You're like, if you need this, it's this price, but you know, stage 5 brakes right now are like unicorns.
And they are. You can ask anybody out there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they'll say this to me all the time. Oh, I pull them all the time. Okay, well, I'll buy them every single time. So sell them to me. Guess what?
Nothing.
Crickets. Full of shit. That's what they are. Full of shit. Oh, you know, I'm just telling you, man.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff out there. But what are y'all comfortable paying? So you know the market. Okay, let's just say it's 10K per stage, which what it used to be. Okay, 10K per stage. It's
Yep.
50, 40, 30. You know these stage threes. These stage threes at the court center sell for 25K a piece. I'm selling the set for 60K. Now you'll find them for 20K, 30K, this, that, and the other. Those are people that are just temporary hit and go. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So take advantage of those pricing, get it, put it in your cars, and I recommend everybody to do that. Buy all the parts up there. You know what I mean? If you can find cheaper, buy them all, man. I mean, I'm not upset about the people putting the prices out there, but I am just wanting to detail that process that I go through as a solo entrepreneur, investing his own money and not having gangs filter their bet through me to sell stuff. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I understand.
Oh, so what's reasonable pricing then for what would you consider reasonable for a stage 5 item besides brakes?
That's hard to determine because for context, in the BCSO, we get paid less than half hourly what the LSPD gets. So, you know, when you're speaking to someone from the BCSO, they're probably going to be a little more conscious regarding pricing, especially considering the pay LSPD gets. An LSPD officer may never even have to second guess the pricing of parts. I don't know. Like, straight up, I just don't know. I'll tell you what, I've called you regarding pricing, so I can gauge pricing and figure out whether or not, you know, if I need something immediately, if it's worth paying a premium. But more often than not, either another officer had recently, you know, upgraded parts and has something that may not have too much wear left, but something. That's where I stand, because straight up, I just ain't got money to be able to dump 50, 60 grand into individual parts. Like, I wish I did. I unfortunately don't.
Yeah, I understand that, but you know, here's the other thing: not everybody can afford Louis Vuitton either.
I understand. Yep,
Vuitton,
I agree.
You feel me? You can stake with 1, 2s, and 3s. You know that is affordable, and live within your means. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being reasonable here.
I get what you're saying.
But everybody wants the Louis Vuitton or better. You know what I'm saying? Balenciaga, they want it all, but they want the damn Walmart pricing. You know, so I understand what you're saying, and I understand the economy. But the thing is like,
what are you guys putting in there? What are you guys putting in there?
A price.
No, we're pulling out my
for
motor.
y'all and locking it in, so it's reasonable. Just know that it's not going to be 100% quality. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I understand that. Like, as someone who's gonna look at a situation, and I can remove myself from a situation and be like, yeah, no, that's, you know, that's very reasonable. You might want to move that coquette. It's
Yeah, Mello fucked it up.
Sorry,
okay. That works.
I'm nosy.
I just wanted to inform you that, like, you know, people in the BCS are probably going to be a little more conscious regarding pricing. So determining that pricing is probably a little iffy. Just like, you know, a standard like the amount, I couldn't figure that out myself. That's more like a Ventura question.
So even for the LSPD, right? I offer this olive branch. Y'all come up with effective pricing that y'all feel is acceptable, and I'll let you know if it's reasonable enough for based on my business model. So I stay consistently with the parts to provide based on that pricing, and I'll lock it in for y'all. But it'll be just for the government workers. The civilian pricing is civilian pricing. Be willing to do that. Y'all sit together and figure out what's reasonable. let you know if it's reasonable on my end, and we can come to a healthy price for everybody that's they can afford within reason, and keep things moving so you can do your job better, I can do my job, and things prosper for everybody. So I'd be welcome that if y'all would want to sit down and talk amongst each other and come up with a that price point for each of the stages.
I mean, I think I'm not in any position to be clear, but I mean that just sounds like a normal, healthy conversation to have amongst, you know, Peters, Turner, Ventura, Aspen. I
would talk to Ventura and Aspen. Like, we already use her on everything. I mean, I don't really give a fuck.
I'm gonna be real. I don't even know if Cassidy even like.
I'll be open to have that discussion. Is what I'm saying, to let y'all, you know, feel what's reasonable for your work, for your deputies and officers. But again, the civilian side pricing would be different, obviously.
Jay, it's so most people are just going to refer to it as price gouging, but his business revolves around convenience. It's no different than going to a convenience store. You go to a gas station for a snack, it's going to cost you twice as much.
Within reason, if that's a thing. But if not,
but
the pricing was
you're already there
until
you don't want to make another stop before getting home.
You know what I mean? The Loot Goblin changes where it's always available, then the price is going to drop to the floor. It'd be like 20K, 30K for stage 5. You know what I mean? But until then, the pricing is around, you know, 45 to 60K for stage 5s.
I mean, like I said, it makes sense.
Okay, well, I'm glad we had a discussion. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad that y'all brought the points up, because I'll be honest with you, man, I may come across direct. I'm very direct. I don't like to fluff shit up. But if they take offense to that, they need to bring that up with me, because I do my best to offer the best service possible, and so do all the other mechanics. It could be a bad day, could have just got robbed, could have got shot. You know, there's no excuse for service, but you know, things happen. People are human. You know what I mean? Human beings. So emotions are involved sometimes. So, you know, but if you come across it and you say, hey, you're a scammer, this, that, and the other, like that deputy yesterday, and told me are those parts going to be super dusty, and accusing me of selling dusty shit, I just gave him his money back and walked away. I just don't got time for that shit, because like I don't sell anybody any dusty shit. And nobody can say that in the city that I've ever sold them dusty stuff. So, yeah.
Well, listen, I appreciate you. You know, I think that's I mean, like I said, I could push for it. I think we're kind of harping on it for kind of long now. You know.
Yeah, let's get I got your engine here. What are we putting it into?
The Penumbra.
So let me prep this, and then we'll get it in there. Now,
wait, what engine you put in the Penumbra?
The Supramotor that's in there.
Oh,
not the Supramotor.
Supra. It's like the J2 CI fucking IC fucking quad turbo.
Ooh.
Did you try it in the vet or something?
Yeah. It was. I guess. I told McNulty he could use it for a few hours as long as he put it back, and then he never did. I also told him I had a set of slicks that he could use as long as he got me semi slicks, and he never did.
That's awkward.
Get back to you of how it felt, because I've been thinking about dumping some money and putting an engine in the vet.
I think the only thing that's viable, I think the only thing that's actually viable in this would be the, what's that inline 6 that everybody likes?
The flat 6?
Yeah, the flat 6.
The flat 6, yeah. Build a 3.8 right now. It's be ready tomorrow.
I do have, what do I got? I got the 3.0 turbo i6. I got a 3.5 twin turbo and a 5.2 V10. I don't know if you want any of those, Mello. Or Bruce, if you need any of those.
No, I don't need any of those. What I need is engine parts, man. And I talked to Ang he bought a block for me the other day. He bought a W16, built it, and he put it into a G-Wagon. That was the last I heard of it.
Are
He just
those Dubstas all-wheel drive?
I think so.
Because right now, I'm not kidding. The current sort of norm is just dumping engines into all-wheel drive cars, and they're just crazy.
Yeah, but that one, the W16 is a Bugatti engine, okay? Based off a Bugatti engine.
Yeah, that's what the Marshalls have in their V-Star, and it's like okay. The acceleration's kind of fucked on it.
Well, it's got to go in the right car. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's what people have to understand. So if you ever want to know anything, you just got to do a little research to know what the engines are good for, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. You really don't have to do a lot of testing in the sense of knowing what the engine goes to. It's the fact of putting it into the car based on the specifications from the manufacturers here in the city, whether it's going to be a good engine or not. And so I believe, in my opinion anyway, that a lot of it is busted. That's why you have different.
Trying to think about a good engine to put into a V-Star or a Scout.
Rhodes' motor.
Well, no, because
I don't
recently
have
the
$1 million.
Scout's been driving like fucking ass. Like it's
I'm
so
driving the other day,
inconsistent.
bro.
It's so fucking temperamental. One day it's great, the next day nothing's changed, and it just drives like ass.
So here's another thing y'all need to do, since y'all going to be doing your own mechanic work. What you need to do, this is a tip that a lot of people don't know.
Well, people aren't doing their own mechanic work. I think.
You got to pull each part out every now and then and reset it.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Please don't
told
fucking
you
tell
that.
me. Don't fucking tell me that's why my car one day drives like ass, the next day drives
Could be.
fine.
Who fucking knows?
Ah, I'm gonna lose it.
You got to pull each part out and then put it back in. Now the engine, different, because if it's melted to the engine mount, then you can't pull it out. And if you do pull it out, it's dust.
Yeah, the engines aren't supposed to be that way. That was supposed to be resolved ages ago. And ages ago, I mean like month and a half ago.
I think it's still a thing.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Do you have tires, or do I need to go get a set?
What kind of tires?
Actually, do you have semi-slicks?
I have 3. I can get the 4th one by a phone call.
Okay, I'll tell you what. I got slicks on that vehicle. I want semi-slicks. I don't give a fuck that I'm going to be losing money. I think they're still in the
I'll do a trade.
90s.
Okay.
Yeah, I know that's a fucking amazing trade. So it's you got to pull the slicks off that.
I'm trying to make the V-Star great.
Let me get that for you right now.
Aren't you just gonna fall into the same trap of all of our other cars, which is their
I'll be right
rear-wheel
back.
drive, and they're just like I drove Peter's CVPI, I drove Turner's CVPI today, and I don't like how either of them drive. Like I want there to be like I want to be able to take the same damn line as all these bitches out here and all these fancy cars.
You can't do that. You can't do that.
But instead, I have to brake to 60 miles an hour, make a 90-degree turn. But I used to be able to.
Just
I think the Buffalo carries speed the best out of all our cars.
Probably.
just do what I did and ask Daddy Soze for a yote.
I don't even know if the yote would be good. It might.
And-
It might. But I have no idea. I don't know if anyone's put a yote in a Scout. Does anyone have one? Oh wait, I was told Drader does.
I think Trader had one in the Gauntlet. But I
I think Davenport. I think Davenport told me he put one in a Scout. I don't know if it's true though. I also wouldn't pull it out without Drader being around and asking permission.
For food and maybe drinks. I haven't checked yet.
Yeah, I just bought food.
Oh, nice.
Do y'all know I got a second job?
Chicken.
Where?
Abracadabra. Y'all, I gotta make ends meet.
Yeah, with all these parts. God, he went on a fucking tangent, and then when it started from, hey, cops aren't fucking branching out and talking to mechanics, and I just gave him a reason as to why, and then it just turned into him defending car part prices.
Yeah.
Does anybody,
That's
I
the
mean,
other thing.
he's
I
literally
wanna
a
sit here.
convenience-based business. Like, if he charges a premium, understand that some people are not going to take lightly to that, you
He
know?
literally fucking charged me $220,000 for slicks.
His business.
How much?
Wasn't that okay? So what happened was I did a bunch of engine swaps, I did like I was like basically testing, and every time you do an engine swap, you got to put a stock engine back in a car,
Right.
right? So he does
Yep.
have to buy that. So we did like 4 engine swaps, which I think is like 10 grand a motor. But then he sent me
Well,
an
can't you use the
invoice.
same one?
I don't think so. I think I don't know. That's the other thing. So we did like 4 or 5 engine swaps when I was testing the CVPI. I put like we had like 3 or 4 motors built out. Tested them all. They were all dog shit, and he fucking ended up sending me an invoice for 300 grand, and I was like, nah. I was like, not happening. I was like, you need to fucking come correct on that pricing. And then I mean it ended up coming down to 220, but still that's fucking 80 grand, you know?
Yeah.
80 grand is not 80 grand's like a fucking week of work for us. I would say for your average
A
cost,
week?
you don't do 80 grand a week?
Not even fucking close. You know how much money I got to my name?
How
I
much?
did. I got both my checks today. I got 80, exactly
Yeah.
83.
Okay.
I've been on duty a lot lately.
I do need the slicks. Okay, so I need the slicks off that one. I'm going to go get the car. I want the semi slicks on.
I'm just waiting to hear back from JJ. He had 1 tire.
Someone was advertising having 2 semi slicks
I don't know if you're
before.
gonna get in touch with JJ right now.
Well, it depends on which
Joe.
JJ.
JJ from
Oh,
Hydro.
you know what? I got a semi slick. I got a semi slick at MRP.
Oh, yes.
Okay, I'll be right back. I'll be right
All right,
back.
perfect.
Let me go park
Oh
this
fuck!
up.
I actually had a semi slick.
Y'all get all to get shit together.
I will be right back, Rhodes. I need
All right.
you to take that vehicle. Is that okay?
Which one? Which vehicle am I taking?
Wait, is the motor
No,
in here?
well, yep, it's in there. The Coquette, doesn't he have to take the
Holy
tires off
shit.
of it though?
I might need the tuner shop 8-speed sequential in this thing. I don't know if it would make a difference.
It will. Try it out.
Well, it's
Well,
140 grand. It's
I
140
thought you had one already.
No, I got an automatic in here. I heard the automatic.
We can test it out. I'll go bring my other car. We can pull it out and test it out. See if you like it.
I fucking hate the sequential.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll do this first. I got
Okay.
it.
All right.
Okay.
The
Yeah,
sequential
it-
doesn't make a difference at all. To be honest
No,
with
it-
you.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, so for a couple things, the reason I do not like it is because I find that in my experience, the braking distance of cars with the sequential ends up being greater because, how do I word this? Also say this from a skewed bias perspective of only driving the Scout, which has 6 gears. I'll throw that out there first. We threw in the 8-speed sequential, and because it sits there and goes through all 8 gears, every time you slam on the brakes, you all the way down. Whereas if it were manual with the exact same engine, everything else still the same, if you were to dump the clutch, that car would brake considerably faster.
See.
I hate dealing with all 8 gears. I like that
Okay.
the Scout is 6.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I mean, again, it comes down to the user, you know.
Oh yeah, no, 1,000%.
1,000%.
1,000%.
Any of these parts, man. That's what I try to tell people. Like, you don't have to go 4 or 5. 3s are perfect. Honestly, they are. Go with you have to mix it up, right? So you go with some stage 3s and maybe 1 or 2 stage 4 or stage 4 and a stage 5. Listen, man, you can make a beast, man. You don't have to go all 4s and 5s. That's what people don't understand. And I try to let people know, but I mean, shit, when they come to me and say I want all 5s or all 4s, yeah, it is what it is. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what
gonna
you're
pay-
saying.
Gonna pay top dollar for it, where they can break it up and pay less.
You don't really need stage 5 brakes, to be honest with you.
Now, I
Everything
do-
else is-
I do have a question. Because obviously, you know, you're big into car parts and whatnot. Have you experienced what I'm experiencing with my fucking Scout, where one day it's wonderful and the next it's not? Like, is it just a matter of getting the parts pulled out and thrown back in? I'm telling you, like, and I know it's not just me because Ventura experiences the exact same thing. Like, straight up, one day it's how it used to drive a couple months ago, and then out of nowhere, it's the most messy understeery mess in existence.
It happens seldomly with the Buffalo. Like, sometimes, like, it'll just be like a really understeery some days, and some days they'll just stick to the fucking the road. And I just like park it back up and throw the parts in and throw it back out, and then that normally fixes it.
Yeah.
Because I also know there's something else happening where, like, I don't know, how do I say this? The parts, the parts, the ECU in the car kind of like shuts off, and some people have to get out and get back in the car. To
Yeah.
make the parts work. So I don't know. There's like funky stuff going on with the ECUs.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I know I've experienced that. Like, I think it was Alice's Premiere, which had, you know, a whole bunch of upgrades, and on flat ground, that bitch, when I was driving it, wouldn't get over 130 on the freeway. Like, I don't know what the hell it is. When I was driving that Coquette right there on the freeway, it was doing